morning, everyone. We haven't officially met. My name is Sharon, and this is my first YouTube cooking video. I'm gonna give it a try. I love to watch videos and I love to cook. I love to cook simple and fresh. And so I thought, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and just start sharing it with the world. Might as well, huh? So anyway, my name is Sharon, like I said, and I'm just a wife, a mom, and a nana, and a devoted home cook that loves to cook for not only my husband and myself, but my family and my friends. And all of these recipes that I'll be sharing are taste tested by my family and friends, which are the biggest critics ever. So I can promise you they are tasty, they're fresh, and they're simple. So this video here is going to be one of two parts that I'm gonna do this week. Today, my husband's been craving my butter chicken. So it's a good little Indian dish that we first tasted when we were in Seattle like a decade ago. So ever since we have come back from Seattle, I've just tried different recipes, and I finally found this one here that I think is the closest. This video, we are going to make naan bread, because who can have any type of Indian dish without our flatbread known as naan. So we are going to make naan on this video, and then when we get that done, we will go ahead and do my butter chicken recipe. But for the naan, I like to go ahead and get it out of the way, and just it's there, it's ready, because the butter chicken recipe does not take long at all to make. So let's get started. We'll go over the ingredients first, and then we will get to cooking. Okay, so now it's time to get our yeast ready and let that proof. We are going to start off with a half a cup of warm water. It doesn't need to be hot. Basically, I test it on my wrist, and you sort of want it about like the warmth for a baby's bath, basically. So we're gonna put our half a cup of water. And then we are going to go with 1 teaspoon of sugar. Let's put that in there. And then we are going to go with, I'm going to do, because I'm not using it out of a pack, I'm using it out of a jar, but we are going to go with, let's see here, 2 1/4 teaspoons of yeast. So here is my quarter, and I don't know, let's see, I don't think I can get my spoon in there, so let's just do it this way. Okay, so we've got our quarter in there. Now there's 1 teaspoon. And I like to have my stuff measured out, but there we go. We'll make it work, won't we? Okay, so we have 2 1/4 teaspoons of yeast, our warm water, and our sugar. I'm just going to sort of just move it around a little bit. We want it to let it sit for about 15 minutes and let that proof. And then we will come back and we will get the next stage going, okay? Okay, so now we have our yeast, and it is proofed. It's good and fluffy, and it's done its thing. So we are going to go to the next step, which is adding all this in with our flour mixture. So what I like to do is just get make a little well in there, sort of like so. And I did forget to tell you this before I pour all this in. I buy the jar of yeast. And if you have a packet like this, or not the little packets, but the jars like this, the best thing to do is it needs to be refrigerated. I like to put my yeast in the freezer. I think you can see that. I like to put my yeast in the freezer, and it keeps really well in there. So that's just a good little tidbit of info there for you. Okay, so I've got my little hole here in the mix of things, and I am going to go ahead. This is where we add our half a cup of plain yogurt. So we're gonna put that in there. You can do this on your countertop or on a board, mix this like this, but I don't do it. It gets out of control for me, so I like to keep everything in a combined, a little confined spot there. But we will turn it over in just a second. Okay, so we've got our yogurt, and now we are going to do our tablespoon of oil. You can use any oil you have on hand. I like to use olive oil. I use that probably for the majority of my cooking. But we're going to go ahead and do 1 tablespoon of oil. Okay. Put that in there. Shake it and get all the goodie out. And last but not least, oh wait, nope, we've got to do our 1/2 teaspoon of salt. When I sit here and just cook, I don't think about things, but then when I start talking about it, I have to sort of get my bearings straight. Okay, and then last thing we're gonna do, let's set this over here, is we are going to go ahead and add our yeast. And that looks really good. That was a fresh jar actually, so it seems like always when I open a jar, it's like best the very first time. Okay, so we are gonna go ahead. I like to go ahead, like I said, when I keep it in a bowl like this, I like to, I get messy when I cook, so I don't wanna be like really totally messy right now with you guys. So I like to get a wooden spoon and just start stirring it around. And you want that wet mixture to pick up the dry off of the sides. So just mix this. And when I feel like that it's clean enough, then I'll turn it out on the board and get my hands into it. There we go. I think we're good. So I'm going to turn it out on the board like so. And I am going to use this bowl. So I'm gonna, I hope you guys can see. Let me set that right over there. There we go. You have to get your hands dirty to cook. I mean, that's just the best way. So, and I come from a long line of Southern cooks, so let me tell you something. They use their hands, and I do too, and it's okay. Okay, so basically I'm just getting that in just a little, it's a little wet ball, but that's okay. I'm gonna sort of get it like that. I didn't knead it a whole lot. I don't want it to have to knead it a whole lot. Let me wash my hands, and then we are going to put it in the bowl. I'm gonna put just a tad bit of olive oil in my messy bowl here because we're gonna let it rise now. So I'll bring my dirty little bowl back over, but it's okay. And I just sprinkle a little bit. I mean, just a little, not much. I don't measure it. I just sort of douse it in there. I don't want to totally saturate my ball, but okay. And then I'm just gonna put it in here like that, turn it over, just get it good and coated. It's about like making bread, basically. There. So it's in there and it's good and oily. Now, what we're gonna do now, we have to let it sit and rise for an hour. And I find it easiest while I'm getting this prepared. Let me go get it out of the microwave. I like to use flour sack dishcloths. So I just get this and I heat it up in the microwave and on about probably 45 seconds to a minute. And I just put it over it like that. Okay, so here we go. We got our little ball of dough. We are going to, there we go, put that warm, damp cloth over it, and we're gonna just go ahead and put it in the microwave. I'm gonna stick it back in there, set my timer for an hour, and it will rise, and then we'll be back, okay? Okay, everyone, we are back. I've got the dough has risen. I went ahead and thought I had the camera rolling and it wasn't, so I went ahead and kneaded it just a little. I'm gonna go ahead and do it again. I'm gonna, just to show you how I like to keep a little bit of flour out here to dust my clean hands off in the board. So basically we're just gonna sprinkle a little bit of flour, and we're just going to knead this just a little bit. I did it about that much while ago when I thought I was actually recording. So there you go. We got our nice little round ball there. And let me set my flour there. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna cut this into eighths. So just get either a knife if you don't have a pastry cutter, and we are going to cut it in half. And sometimes that dough, it'll get a little sticky, so we'll just try and keep a little flour in there where it'll cut good. Okay, and then we're gonna cut this one here and cut this one here. Okay, and then, so we've got quarters now, we're gonna cut those quarters into half. There we go. Okay, so we've got them there, see, in little, and some of them are a little smaller than others. So what I like to do is just set them to the side like this. I hope you guys can see that okay. Woo, about lost that one. Okay, so we're gonna sprinkle a little bit more flour and just sort of roll it in a ball. Now, you want to get these, when you do roll them out, you want to make them thin. That's what's gonna cause them to bubble up really good when you fry them in your skillet. So, I just sort of go like that. Get these over here. Let's put it over there. So you do want to roll them out pretty thin, like I said, and if it feels like it's getting a little sticky, no big deal, just put a little bit more flour on it. And if you feel a side that's just a little bit thicker. I am no trained chef by any means. I have learned over the years by watching my grandmother and my mother and aunts, and then just learning how to do things myself. So, and I'm not perfect by any means. Okay, so that's gonna be a pretty big one, but it's nice and thin. Let me see if you can sort of tell. See, it's pretty thin. And let me get my pastry cutter here. So mine is looking to be about 6 inches wide and probably 6 to 7 inches long. So you want them thin. That's the main thing, so that they can, get the little bubbles when they start frying. So we're gonna finish rolling these out, and then we will head on over to the frying pan, okay? Okay, we have got a smoking hot skillet, guys and gals, and we are going to put our first naan on the hot iron skillet. I did douse it with a little oil. Okay. I think you can see that. Iron skillet works the best. If you don't have one, I would highly, highly recommend investing in one. They are wonderful. I have an electric glass top, so I've got mine on about between medium and 6 on mine. But if you can see how these little bubbles, they're starting to form, that is why you want your dough very thin, okay? So we're gonna wait, and when those bubbles, it's really getting full of bubbles, and I just get a little peek underneath there, and we're gonna let them fry just a few minutes. Like I said, you don't want your skillet to be like extremely hot, because then you're gonna have just a smoky house, I'm telling you. You'll have all the windows and doors open, and we don't want that. So I'd say just a medium to a medium high heat. Okay, we got our little bubbles, see them? They're pretty. Flip it over. Look at that. Just let those fry, and when it gets these little brown blisters on the other side, your naan is ready. And we're gonna go ahead and finish frying this one up. When we take it off, we're gonna baste it with a little melted butter, and man, they are so good. Well, guys and gals, that's a wrap on my first YouTube cooking video. And what do we have to show for it? A nice big old platter of flatbread. Looks pretty delish, huh? So if you guys enjoyed watching this video, I would love it if you would give me a thumbs up. And if you would like to see more of my videos in the future, including the butter chicken recipe that I'm going to share right after this video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and go ahead and hit the little bell on the side so you can be notified every week when I put up new videos. So until next time, be safe, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.